Welcome to the Movie Lighthouse, shining a light through the fog of film. Okay, so I'm delighted to tell you that this is a little special we've got today. I'm joined by the writer and director of a brand new horror film like no other that I've ever seen, The Woman in the Chair.
How y'all doing? My name's Maurice, and recently I came across something, so I'll just let the video speak for itself. I just saw someone or something in there, sitting in the chair by the table.
Where do we sign up?
Sign up.
To see it. To see her.
I mean, the supernatural is nothing to be messed around with. I mean, I want to respect that. So
I'm here with Mr. Derek Hammer. Hello, Derek.
Hey James, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great.
You've just wrapped on production, I should say, on this brand new horror film that I was lucky enough to see last night, The Woman in the Chair. Now, this is going to be a spoiler-free interview, obviously, because we want everybody out there to go and watch this. Spoiler, but this is the only spoiler. It's good. I've watched it. I think it's brilliant. It's completely original. It's great narrative. Edgy of seat stuff, lots of scares. It's got it all, but we'll get into that in a minute. So, if you were going to tell somebody who never heard anything about this film before, how would you describe it?
Depends on if I'm trying to sell it or if I'm trying to tell my friend. Which would you like the
Well, I think we're nearly friends, so come on, like you're telling a friend.
I would probably say it's a horror film based on a kind of a new concept of what I could describe as ghost tourism. And it's about a guy who finds a ghost. The ghost is sitting there in a chair. It never moves. So he capitalizes on it. He brings in a bunch of rich people. He builds a glass wall, and they all are like watching the ghost, and they pay money to watch the ghost, to see the ghost. And as they uncover the mystery, as they get too close to it, it's like they start getting haunted.
So you want to tell me what this is about?
Sorry. Top secret.
Devin, you're letting him get too close.
He's drowned.
You dreamt about her too. She's changing us, all of us.
I think it's fair to say that in the great ghost story tradition, I was thinking of The Woman in Black. The original Woman in Black kind of sprang to mind for me, and the others, and those kind of ghost stories. Were you influenced by anything like that?
I would say there's a lot of different things that inspired me, but I could go over a few. As far as the kind of special effects or visual effects or the actually moments when you see the ghost, it's kind of funny. There's an effect, and I won't get into it, but it's inspired by, I think it's called Steamboat Willie.
Right? Yeah.
Steamboat Willie. There's a dance of the ghosts or something.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes,
You
yes.
know what
yes.
I'm talking about. Okay, so maybe I won't spoil, and maybe people can watch the movie and see if they can make the connection.
Well,
But that
go.
Seeing that also reminded me of a dream that I had, and so that inspired some kind of small details with the ghost, and then actually having an encounter with a something ghost or whatever you want to call it when I was like 12 or 13 was a
Oh, wow.
big inspiration. I don't remember if I told you about that on the last one.
No, please, come on. Spill
Okay,
what happened.
Yeah, so when I was 12 or 13, I woke up in the middle of the night. I had this feeling, and there was a kind of a voice that said, "There's a monster in your room." I don't know why. Can't explain that. Right now, at that time, my alarm clock was right here, right? and my room was over there. I was on the end. So I turned to the left. I saw my alarm clock. It said 3:03. And then I
Oh,
turned to the right, and I saw this white sheet, literally a white sheet in the middle of my room, and it had like a really flat head. I remember. So the first thought I thought was like, I think that my first thought was like, wait, did my dad stack a bunch of boxes and cover it with a sheet? And then my second thought was like, wait, my room is locked. My dad doesn't do stuff like that. This is a freaking ghost. And then my third thought was like, that's kind of cliche. And then I covered myself and I waited about an hour with my heart beating really fast. And I slowly crept down and I looked and it was gone. And then I ran to my parents' room, tried to wake them up, tried to tell them what happened. They're like, what are you talking about? Go to bed, right?
yeah, get back to the room where it all started. Yeah.
Exactly. And then a year later, I woke up and I looked at the same time, 3:03. I looked and I saw the same thing walking around in my room. And
Oh
then
my, what? Sorry, it came back
it came back about
at
a year later,
3:03.
3:03.
Oh
I
my
did not
goodness.
know the significance of this until I was actually pitching this movie to a producer in Hong Kong because I was still trying to get some money for it. And he told me like 3:03 actually means it's like a time where ghosts come out or something. And then I looked on the internet and it turns out, yeah, it is, right? And then I also realized that, you know, my whole my whole growing up, my whole life, I thought that I saw like a flat head. Then I realized, oh, maybe it was like the head was cut off and I was just seeing like the shoulders
Oh
with
crikey.
the sheet on top. Yeah. So
All
that
right.
was my experience.
Crikey.
Um,
So you must have been
no-
terrified. You must have been terrified, yeah, when you were a kid.
yeah, I was when I was a kid, I was terrified. Yeah.
So, all right.
Um,
So my question for you, really, Derek, is
mm,
how do you get that terror into a film? So, you know, obviously, I've watched a lot of horror films. There's going to be a few jump scares, and I was really impressed. You know, because not a lot of films can do that for me. And you know, you got that. But how do you inject those kind of horrific ingredients to get that tense nature going on?
well, you know, with the budget I had and with what I was able to accomplish, I hope that I got across what I wanted to, which is a feeling of otherworldliness when you do see the ghost or when the scary moments. I want it to be not just stereotypically scary, but something that reminds you deeply of. um let's see, like for me, it was I tried to convey the feelings that I felt when I had certain dreams.
Hmm.
For example, there's a part where, okay, so there's a part where Pearl is sleeping, the main character, and then she has a voice in her head that says, there's something there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of hard to say, like, what is that voice in her head? And for me, it's like it could be interpreted as her guardian angel that has no power over this demon in the room who's like so just freaked out. Like if your guardian angel's freaked out, like
Yeah.
you should be freaked out, right?
You're in big trouble.
Like, right. If you're asleep and there's something warning you to wake up, I think that's like pretty serious. So I don't know. Stuff
Yeah.
like that, I think trying to dig deeper, trying to get something more otherworldly, something that reminds us of our own fears, our own dreams, as opposed to something that reminds us of crap that we've seen in Hollywood or stuff we've seen again and again.
What sort of director would you say you are? Are you a director that works quite closely with the actors? Do you allow them to improvise? Or are you quite strict, precise, or you like Kubrick and like pushing your actors to the edge, like Shelley Duvall in The Shining? What was your style to get the best out of the actors?
Oh, I definitely can't compare myself to Kubrick or anything, but I was very strict with the script. But before we did the movie, we did a reading, and I had the actors read through it and to check and see if anything, when they said it, did it sound unnatural?
Yeah.
And then knowing the actors was great because, I mean, when I got to know them for a while and talk to them, I could kind of imagine what they would say that would seem like natural to them and what would not. And then I did have instances where in the initial reading and during the shoot where they would tell me like, I wouldn't say this, and it's just coming out kind of unnaturally. I'm like, okay, how would you say it? And then we changed it. And then particularly the main character, Shoko, what's her name is Shoko.
Yeah.
She was kind of good at that, spotting what was not natural. And then she really needed each actor is different. She in particular needed adjectives to describe what her emotions should be. She needed a word, she needed an adjective. And once she got it, she would nail it.
Okay. I have to say, so it's a multinational cast. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And the characterizations are lovely. They stand out. They work together well. The conflicts and resolutions and friendships and all that kind of stuff really work.
Oh, great.
It's not just a load of teenagers, which is nice. I particularly liked. I think the older businessman. I love them. Brilliantly portrayed. How did you get these people together? Was it choice, necessity, opportunity, or luck?
Divine intervention. I don't know. I just think that when you have something in your head and you don't settle for less, it works out. I was in Japan doing this, and like in Japan, all the foreign actors are usually just models. They don't know how to act. But I just believed that I would get them, and it was great because the film is a mix of Asian and Western horror kind of, and elements, and music everything is a fusion. And I didn't expect it, but I got a half Japanese, half American actress who happens to be able to act very well. And I did not expect that. And it was great. And she just looked the part and everything. Basically, I need to thank the second main character, the supporting actor, Maurice. His name is Hagen, because when I met him, I had known him before the movie. He auditioned. He was perfect. He knew the French actor. He knew the woman actress, and he also knew AJ, Jared, the other actor. So he introduced all of them, and they all auditioned really great. And it was great because they were friends. So like it just made the process of shooting so much more fun.
With the effects, did you use as many practical effects as possible, or was it CGI, or was there a conscious decision in how you chose your effects and how you wanted them to look? I know budget always is a factor, but
yeah, budget. And then the house was. Well, let me ask you: did you think that there was a house in the woods?
I certainly did. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. It was actually a $1,000 project of just building a frickin' wall in the middle of nowhere, because there was no house there, and it was really hard to find, and it was hard to do it digitally. So we had to actually construct a kind of wall, kind of corner of a house, and put some old windows up there, just to have it in the background. I mean, practically, yeah, that, and then the ghost. I had an actress, and then I had two different sets of a silicone ghost. I don't like calling it a puppet, but yeah, it is a puppet.
That's it. Yeah, because I was never sure if it was a person or not. It was a very fine line, and you got that unearthly quality. But that actor must have been able to stand sit very still at certain points.
She did, yeah. So in the early part of the movie, the ghost is at stage 1, I would call her. So she's not. She still looks kind of more human, I guess. And then later on, she changes to a more ghostly, a more evil, as you could say, as theoretically she absorbs the evil around her. Who knows, right? And then there's a stage 3 where her face changes again. So the Mr. Pepe, I'm trying to remember his last name. Pepe Matalini. I don't remember. He's Italian.
Right, yeah.
He made he was amazing. He made the Silicon Ghost stage 2, stage 3, um, and based on the actress. So we did a casting of her face. So
And
she did it for a while, and then we got to stage 2. We had the stage 2 head, and then the stage 3 head, which I still have.
you wrote and directed the film. And
Uh-huh.
did you also do the score?
I did.
You did. Okay, busy man.
Yeah.
So right, so this is probably my most difficult question, but so if you've got somebody writing the screenplay and you've got someone doing the music and you've got
Mm,
somebody directing, all these people have different interests, don't they? And
mm,
they have to compromise and work together. How
mm.
did you check yourself to make sure that you weren't because it's kind of one voice, isn't it? As opposed to
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's kind of how I've grown as a filmmaker because I've lived in so many countries. You know, a lot of people they stay in one place, they build a network, they get to know other people, which is the normal and healthy way to learn how to delegate to those talented people that they meet. I think I've not really in my life until recently. I haven't found a place that I was growing roots really and meeting people who I connect with and who I think can be my composer or and even just the money thing, who can I pay? And
right.
um I was I was in the end I'm satisfied I was able to do it myself, but I'm not going to do it again, to be honest. I'm not going to do all that again. I had COVID actually on my side because there were delays, but I had it's COVID, it's okay.
Ah,
So yeah, I guess the question to answer is basically not trying to be in a rush to finish, trying to keep a standard of quality rather than I want to get this over with.
were there must have been times like with any project that you just
Yeah.
felt like you wanted to walk away, jack it all in. Did that
Mhm.
did that happen during quite a lot, or was it quite a nice process? Now you've had time to kind of look back a little bit.
No, I never really wanted to scrap it. I think it was so important at the very beginning to take my time with making a story that I really believed in, and that was so vital. Having a story that I felt was really good, and that helped so much because when people, my cast and crew, when they read it, they said, "We all believe in this,"
You-
and because I believed in the script, it just made everything else better. If I liked the script, I probably would not have been able to do all this.
uh,
But because I love the script, I was able to work freaking hard to not give up and keep
yeah,
working at it, do so much crap on my own,
yeah.
and see it finished.
Uh, you're absolutely right. I'm a firm believer that the script and story is key. If you've
Yeah.
got that element right, you can use your imagination. You can work on everything else. Everything else should be there to kind of enhance that, really. But the story is vital, and it tied up, and it tied up well. It really annoys me when people take. Um, for me, there's two ways to go. Yeah, you can either go character led for a story or narrative led. And I think you mixed it quite well together. There were character decisions that moved the story along, but there was also the overarching story that we kept coming back to, which was great. So, without
Glad
giving
to
away
hear
any
that.
spoilers, what's your favorite bit?
Oh, you mean the favorite part of the film?
Uh-huh.
Actually, for me, it's probably just when um, the initial setup is actually my favorite. Like
Yeah.
the initial setup of like they're starting to like do it. They're starting to make their business idea a reality
It, it,
because I've never seen that, I guess. I've never seen that in a film. And so I think that people, when they're watching it, I think interest is probably high at that point.
Oh, it draws you in like Hansel and Gretel. Those first 15 minutes, you know, and also the journey that has to be, you know, across the lake and all that kind of stuff, and getting closer and closer. You're not quite sure what you're going to see. You've no idea what it's going to be. And when you do see it, you've never seen anything quite like it, and you still don't know what it is, and they don't know what it is. But there's something about it, and you know, so it gives you enough, but contains a mystery. It's brilliant. Highly recommend it. How can people see it?
So it's going to be distributed in America by a distributor named Bayview. They said it's in August. It's going to be released. It's going to be announced on their side, and once it's announced, I'm going to announce it. So I can't really say anything. I wish I had a date.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be next month. It's going to go on DVD first. It's going to be in like Walmart, Barnes and Noble, things like that on DVD first, and then it's going to go to video on demand, so Amazon, something like that after.
Are you going to enter it into any festivals? I know we've got a few great horror film festivals over this side of the water.
You know, because the release is coming up, I know it's hard to like get it into a festival after its release.
Right.
I mean, I think it's possible that I know some festivals, they don't mind releasing films that are, I mean, they don't mind showing films that are already released. So if a festival reaches out to me and say, hey, we want to show this, I'll say yes. But I'm not really trying to get it in, because it's like most of them have that requirement.
Right, so you're not taking on promotion as a full-time job, as well as directing and script writing and doing the sound and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, promotion is I'm doing what I can, but the distributor, I think they have some marketing plans.
Yeah, have a rest, Derek. Have a rest. You've done enough.
I need a rest. That's the thing. Well, okay, and then I should also mention the Japan release. There's another distributor in Japan that's going to release it in October, something like that. For any of if you have viewers in Japan, I'm not sure if that's relevant.
I'm sure we have listeners everywhere. But yeah, okay. So, so when's the release in Japan?
That I heard it might be in Halloween, but I'm not sure.
Oh,
not
lovely.
Sure. That would be a good time.
A perfect time, because it is a good horror film. It's scary. It's got it all. It's got it all. So come on, Derek. What's next in your imagination?
Well, I mean, I'm working on some other things right now, not film related, and I kind of want to see how this one does. You know, I think if I were to do another film here in Thailand, it would be, like, for example, if that film does well, the woman in the chair does well, it would prove to me like, yes, I can make a film that's financially, I can get the return at least, you know, in another country, not in America. And doing it in Thailand would be so much cheaper too. So I do have an idea for, I mean, I have a script that I'm working on for a kind of spiritual horror film.
Please go and see this film, The Woman in the Chair. Just type it into your internet. You'll be able to find it, I'm sure. Derek, thanks very much for joining me today, and good luck for the future.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Keep in touch.